Today is the day that we finally start actually making the crazy 30-foot rail and turning this into a reality. Last video I set these up, obviously temporarily, just to help kind of visualize it and make sure it's something that I want to do, which it is. End goal is to turn this little bank into a bank to rail, because I think that'll open up a ton of different skateboarding opportunities, obviously, as well as just be really cool sort of real-world practice in my fabrication journey. A ton of different ways to skate this, obviously. You can go over the rail into the bank, both that way and this way, skate it like a kicker, come from in the garage and pop on the rail, go as far as you can, then go into the bank, or just pop out on that side like a normal flat bar. Come down this driveway, pop on here, go as far as you can, then pop into that side or into that side. You guys, I'm really demonstrating how to skate without actually skating. You guys get the point. I revised our whiteboard plan, and I know this looks kind of crazy, but this actually makes perfect sense in my head. Since the last video, sort of introducing all of this, I read through the comments and got a bunch of ideas from there. I talked to some fabrication homies of mine to get some actual professional opinions and advice, and we made this sort of revised whiteboard plan that demonstrates pretty much everything we need to know. Long story short, that's sort of the blown up picture of what the rail is. It's 3 separate 10-foot tubes, legs, feet, asphalt anchors that actually anchor it to the ground there. That right there is how I'm gonna be connecting my tubes together. Those are the feet that we're gonna cut out with the CNC plasma cutter. These are all the materials that we have, or that we will have. I ordered the asphalt anchors. They come next week. Quick little disclaimer. I am very, very new to this whole metalworking and fabrication journey. I didn't go to school for any of this, as I'm sure you'll be able to tell throughout this series. The reason I wanted to include that as a disclaimer, and I say this a lot on these videos, I'm gonna do things wrong. I'm not gonna be doing everything by the books, and I'm gonna make mistakes, and I'm gonna mess things up. I'm gonna do stupid things that I probably shouldn't have done. At the end of the day, the entire reason that I'm doing that, or just these projects in general, is to get practice in, and it's to make mistakes so that I can learn and be better for the next time. With any of my sort of fabrication videos, I'm more than open to just constructive criticism and feedback, and instead of being like, ah, you're an idiot, you shouldn't have done that, maybe be like, oh, you probably should have done it this way, and this is why. Or like, I'm just trying to absorb as much information and actually become a better fabricator. I have really sort of unintentionally stumbled into this hobby that I really enjoy. Not to sound too dramatic with it, but I really haven't enjoyed something this much since I found skateboarding. From the sort of like crazy planning stage and figuring out all the details and how everything's gonna work, to actually learning how to weld and learning how to use the CNC plasma cutter, learning CAD and CAM software. Like, for whatever reason, it is really, really resonating with me, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. That being said, I'm still new to all this, so I'm gonna do some stupid stuff. This 30-foot rail project is likely gonna be split up into 3 videos, I would say. Prepping, getting all the material cut, ready, welded together, and sort of in place. The second video is gonna be installation. We actually get it mounted into the ground and see if it works, see if we did it. And then third is any just last minute buttoning up and just fully finishing it and skating it, obviously. And you guessed it, this is video 1. What we're gonna do today is essentially make all of the parts for the rail. So I wanna weld all of the 10-foot tubing together to make our one 30-foot bar. I wanna cut our 4 individual legs to length, and then I wanna CNC our feet. And thanks to us actually planning ahead and fully cleaning and organizing the shop in yesterday's video, we're ready to just get started. And fill the CNC with water. Yeah, look, the magic of editing. And fill our compressor with air. Look at that. We have oh, also I caved in. I can't talk with those. It's really weird talking when you can't like hear yourself talk. There was a lot of very concerned people in the comments telling me to get ear protection because it's loud, and I should. Thank you guys for looking out for my little eardrums here. Now we need metal, and we did our metal supply run yesterday, so we have everything we need. The feet of the rail are gonna be made out of this 1/4 inch thick, just big old slab of steel. Like I said, it's gonna be bolted into the ground. I just want everything to be like sturdy. I could probably get away using something thinner if I wanted to, but I don't want to. So here it is. Slapping this bad boy on the table. Also, I'm sorry in advance for the fan noise, but it's 104 degrees outside and it's hot, so you may have to put up with a little bit of background noise there. Bro, what just happened? Hold on. I went to go extend the tripod and I just yanked it too hard and I broke yet another tripod. Maybe it's time to start shopping for a different tripod. I don't know why I keep buying this one. The same thing that just happened with this one. You can see I had to hold it together with, that's number 7. I've gone through 7 of these tripods. Also saw a ton of comments telling me to make my own tripod, which is a good idea, but like I want like a super compact, lightweight, like this thing is super portable and I can't make that. And now we gotta go through and ground it like that. Make sure everything's looking good. And now we can get to, well, I was gonna say now we can get to cutting, but I gotta actually make what we're cutting. Cue the voiceover. You might be getting sick of these so far, but I'm not. They're actually really helpful for me because people will comment on my workflow and kind of mention what I should have done differently. But it's cool that I'm able to do things now. Like the time that it takes me to accomplish things is going down, which is nice. I still think I'm going like a very roundabout way of accomplishing things because all this is a circle with 3 holes in it, right? Taking the measurements was weird for me and getting everything even was weird. And I think I like fumbled around enough and didn't do it right, but I did it. Therefore, like, didn't I technically do it right? I don't know. I just like kind of screen recording my workflow and then doing these little sped up time lapses to sort of see how things change as I progress. But yeah, we got it done and I think it came out fine. Okay, so we have our foot loaded in. We have it all zeroed and ready to go. And believe it or not, I'm actually gonna test it first before I do all 4. So let's try the first one. It doesn't get old watching. It's really cool. And she's done. Let's see how she came out. Oh, she's toasty, all right. I have to set the machine to cut slower the thicker the material is obviously. So we're just getting blasted with plasma for so long. Okay, it's starting to cool down and looking pretty good. Actually looking great. Little bit of top dross on the holes, but I mean we're gonna clean it up obviously. But that's our plate right there. Just for my own peace of mind here, I don't have the actual 1/4 inch bolts right now, so I want to use a 1/4 inch bit and just replicate our bolt just to make sure that everything fits. Because the last thing I want to do is cut out 3 more of these and have it not be the right size. We're good. Got our next 3 ready and let's run it. And now we have 1 looking good, and we got 2. I mean, realistically, they should all be the same. I guess I'm just doing a little check. Yeah, sick. Okay, those all look solid. And just like that, we have all 4 of our feet ready to go. Let's move. I mean, now we just gotta cut. Let's cut the legs. So, just looking at our handy dandy whiteboard here, I want the rail to be 1 foot high in total. I guess realistically, it's gonna be 1 foot and 1/4 inch because the feet are 1/4 inch, but that's fine. That means I need to make each leg 10 inches from the bottom of the notch because we're gonna notch the tops of the legs to have them fit in the rail, meaning we have to cut 11-inch sections and then notch 1 inch off of the top of the, it makes sense in my head. We need 4 11-inch sections of tube. Lesson learned from the last video. I'm wearing gloves this time. The real question is which one of these, I guess I didn't think about this. 3 of these are 10 foot, 1 of these is 5 foot. Did I get lucky? I did get lucky. This is the 5 foot section right here. We got 1 there at 11. Exhilarating content, I know. 11 inches, 22 inches, 33 inches, and 44 inches. That'll give us our 4 legs. Before we cut this, I gotta go into a quick little side quest tangent. We are officially coming up on 70 channel members, if we haven't hit it already, actually. 69! We have 69 channel members, and the reason I'm bringing this up right now, becoming a channel member is pretty much the #1 way that you can support me here on YouTube, and obviously it's not required or don't feel obligated obligated at all, even you guys just watching the videos and enjoying and commenting and building this community we have, that's all that I ask for. However, some of you, 69 of you to be exact, have gone above and beyond and joined as a channel member, which really, really helps me financially. I've mentioned that all of the revenue from channel memberships goes right back into fabrication, whether it's A, mainly material, but B, equipment and machinery. And I got this. I got a metal cutting bandsaw, which makes all of my cuts much cleaner and more precise than just going at it with a chop saw. I wanted to say thank you to the channel members because this right here is completely 100% thanks to you guys. So again, thank you. I keep saying, and I'll continue to keep saying, that all of the revenue from channel memberships, as well as selling things, when I make my fingerboard rails, when I make the keychains, like all of that revenue is going straight back into funding this whole thing. Like the 30-foot rail we're making in this video or this series, I've learned that steel's expensive. So you guys supporting me, whether it is through channel memberships or buying some of the metal stuff that I make, like it goes right back into it. I really can't thank you guys enough. Like all these cool projects, and trust me, we have some cool ones coming up. These are thanks to the support of the channel members, so thank you guys very much. If you're interested in joining, and again, no obligation, don't feel pressured at all, please, there will be a link in the description if you would like to join. That being said, let us get back into using our new bandsaw to cut this tube. See our pen mark there? Look at how much more accurate and precise we're able to be with the bandsaw as opposed to the chop saw. Can't forget to get our cutting oil though. We're gonna get her lubed up. Oh, I need my eye condoms, my eye protection. I really like that I get called out, like I get called out whenever I don't wear my safety glasses. I get called out for not having ear protection. Like, you guys must really care. Appreciate you. We're just gonna give her a little pre-squirt. I have different cutting oil coming soon that's actually meant for this, but it'll work. And now we just let gravity do its magic. Okay, I lied to you. I'm a liar, I'm sorry. We're actually only gonna cut 2 of these for right now. Also, I mean, we just got to appreciate the precision of that bandsaw now. Look at that. That is a beautiful cut on both sides, which I'm super happy about. They are both the exact same size too, which is perfect. The reason I lied to you, do you see how in the middle where the 2 rails meet, it's not perfectly level? This one slopes down and this one slopes down. It's not super noticeable, but it's also the same reason that the feet aren't touching the ground here. Why this third leg, I have a third leg. Why this third leg also isn't touching the ground. This whole area, both of these driveways are graded for drainage. When it rains or snows, you obviously don't want runoff pouring into the shop, so this is graded down. This driveway is also graded down, so it makes sort of a channel in the middle for water to flow down that way. There's a couple options on what we can do here, and I don't know which one I'm doing yet. Let's come back over to our handy dandy whiteboard to draw this out. Oh, I'm gonna way over exaggerate it just for this drawing. Let's say this is the driveway. Again, very over exaggerated. Option 1 is we just bolt our 4 legs in to the actual ground, and then when we have our rail, the natural slope, like when you suck them into the ground, it'll naturally bend the rail. It's not that severe of a bend, obviously, so it might just naturally happen when you anchor it to the ground. Or this might work, I'm not sure yet. Option 2, we go and we mount our first and our last leg, getting them bolted into the ground where they go. Then we take some string or like some rope or something and we drape it over this and over that and pull it tight. It'll be boom, 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 boom. This is gonna be string, pretend that's string. From there, I can go through and measure how long I will need to make the middle 2 legs. Just because the ground's not level doesn't mean the rail can't be level. Then once we cut those legs to whatever that, you know, that correct length was, when we put the rail on top of it, it'll sit flush and it won't need to follow the natural curvature of the ground. I'm just not sure which of the, and then the third route would be to actually use a tube roller and measure the angle and actually roll the tube properly. That's just overkill. I don't know which one we're doing yet. That's why I only want to cut the 2 legs that we already cut. And I think we'll figure out which method we're doing in a little bit. The last thing we do have to cut though is the inner tube, because the way that we're connecting the 2 10-foot sections is by using like a little tube telescoping inside of it. 2-inch tube, 2-inch tube, smaller diameter tube that slides in between them. I need to cut 2 6-inch sections of that. All done. Okay, so now we have our little connector pieces. We have 2 out of 4 of the legs. It's time to actually grab the rail. That is where all 3 of the big old 10-footers come in. All right, are you ready to watch the vision slowly coming to life? I grinded down and beveled the inside one just a little bit. So now you can see that we slide in there perfectly, and then we take our other one and we slide it over, and boom, look at that. Then we just weld on that seam, and I mean, even not welded, that actually holds. The only thing though is, as you can see there, it says bevel, because thanks to the helpful YouTube comments, you told me to make sure to bevel those edges so we can get full penetration. Oh, it's almost time. Beveled, 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 bevel. That's a weird word. Bevel, bevel. Why am I yelling? Bevel. All right, I think we're gonna go through and connect them all, and then I guess weld them together. Oh, it's time. I was told to leave a little like 16th inch gap in between there, because when you're welding it, the goal is to bind this to the inside tube. We essentially want to fuse all of those 3 pieces of metal together so it's perfectly like structurally sound, you know? So you can still see the inner telescoping tube in there, and I think we're just gonna go through and weld it. So far there's really nothing I could have messed up. I've just been cutting and cleaning metal. This is where like skill comes in that I don't really have yet, but like I said at the beginning of this video, this is all for learning. I would much rather do something wrong myself than have someone else do it right, if that makes sense. I guess let's go make some mistakes. All right, our gas is going on. I have our MIG settings, which I literally asked ChatGPT what settings I should use for 120 wall tubing. This is where I could really mess it up, man. No, you know what? We'll be fine. I'm doing it. I mean, we're doing it. I'm gonna do this side and the other side. I'm gonna do like all four sides essentially. I don't want to do like all one side and then have it warp, so I was kind of told to do it in sections to try to have it heat and cool evenly, just to minimize warping, I should say. That one felt good. Dude, we're doing it! I'm welding! I'm doing things! Let me take off our ground clamp here. We have a full 360 all the way around, and obviously it's elevated, but I'm gonna go through and grind it down. Those don't look terrible, dude. I think I'm getting better, slowly but surely. Before I do the 3rd piece, I wanna grind that down just to see what like the finished product looks like. Yo, are you ready to see the single coolest thing I've ever done? You can't even see the seam, dude. It came out perfect. There's no bubbles, there's no porosity. When I grinded it down, it all blended I literally don't even know where the seam was. That means it worked. That means that I had enough penetration to get through all of the metals and fuse them all together properly. Dude, I don't know why I can't believe that worked, but like I did something. Now we just have this big old 20-footer, and it's time to add the 3rd one. Woo! Okay. I don't know what it is, dude. I don't know what it is about metalwork or fabrication or whatever we're calling it that brings me so much joy. It really does give me the same feeling as like skating, where you try something over and over again, you fail a million times, and finally you do it right. And like that feeling that rewarding feeling is so sick. Because in reality, all I did here, if you weld or if you're a fabricator, this is the most basic thing you can do, is welded 2 10-foot tubes together. That's literally it. And then we cut them stuff on a bandsaw. But like, I had so much fun for some reason. I like genuinely enjoyed every second of this video and every second of the process. And I just think it's cool that I really accidentally stumbled across something that I really genuinely enjoy. But yeah, I got these tubes welded together, and I was super proud of it. Woo! Things are going good. I'm like speechless. Oh, things are working. I love when things work. Wow. Okay, I gotta show you guys this. I mean, I guess I already showed you, but I'm gonna show you again. See, I almost couldn't even find it. That's how good it is. There is no seam at all. This is the 2nd one, and the 1st one is right here. You can see they're looking great. This is a long pipe, bro, and that's not the first time I've heard that in my life. Look at that. That is a 30-footer. Whoo! Oh my god, I'm so happy. Wow. Okay, let's think. Let's use our brains here. I want to hold it up next to where it's gonna go and just kind of feel the length. And that is what she said. This thing's gonna be heavy, dude. Bro, this thing is crazy. Okay, so, oh yes. Can you see what I mean though? See how it's already following the natural curve of the driveway? I think because the tube itself is so long and the slope is so gradual, it should just follow it. Let's line this up right where it would end essentially, and then nudge this over to like there. Wow, okay. A couple things are going through my head right now. So also, it's really hard to show on camera, but you can see the bank, right? And see that line that kind of represents the top of the bank? That line isn't perfectly straight, which is why I decided to go for 30 feet as opposed to the full length, which is 39 feet. You can see it's kind of straight, 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 and then right here it curves left a little bit. I'm trying to see like maybe here. It's really hard to see on camera. It's like straight, 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 and then curves left at the end right there. So I can't really extend the rail all the way to here, which is the quote-unquote end. You know what? I think I gotta move these two rails and actually line just the 30-footer up. New information has come to light. You guys are so low, but my tripod's broken, so I can't go any higher anymore. I always say in all these videos that I'm always looking for advice or info or feedback, and I really mean that. This is a perfect example of this. The homie Chris White 6940 said, I feel like doing a 90-degree angle for the feet at the end of the rail would look a little cleaner than having the rail ends hang over the beginning and end. Less like a regular skate rail and more like something you might find at a street spot, and probably a bit nicer for a semi-permanent rail outside of the house and a new challenge. And he also said my spacing was off in my original diagram. I figured that out shortly after posting that video. Super, super valid point. Realistically, it's only gonna be held into the ground with 8 anchors, so I can always yank it out if I need to, but I would love to have it sort of look like it's supposed to be there as opposed to just like, oh, there's a skateboarding rail there, you know? I think, you know what, we're going back to the whiteboard. Let's get rid of this for now. I think he was talking about sort of like that, for example, right? Where the edges are 90s. What if we use the tube bender and we try to go for something like this, right? And then we have our 2 legs in the middle. That's a new challenge for us. We'll be putting the tube bender to use, and then we'll also be putting this thing to use, which I haven't used yet. It's a little clampy measure thing. It's like, how do I explain it? So it's like if you have a tube in the tube bender, right? You hook this on if you're gonna be doing multiple bends so you don't accidentally rotate the rail as you're bending it. So in this example here, we're gonna be doing a 90-degree bend there and a 90-degree bend there, meaning 2 separate bends. So I'd want to stick this thing on the tube and zero it out, and then do our 1 90-degree bend, push the tube through, and then do our second 90-degree bend. I haven't used this yet, and I think that'd be a great way to get some practice in, although I'm probably going to practice on not the 30-foot rail because I really don't want to ruin that. So I think for now, at least, we're getting rid of that idea, and this is what we're going to go with. Another thing we ran into is you can see here is the end of the bank, but here it just like curves in and sort of mellows out, and we can't plant a foot there because it's not flat. You're not gonna be skating right here anyway. There's all this shit that you would hit. I scooted it back, what, 3 feet, so we have flat ground there, and it pushes it a little bit more toward the end here, right before it starts curving in, so that's kind of the perfect orientation for it. We're gonna bend that down to that 90. We're gonna bend that down to that 90. Then we can add our legs if we decide to do 2 legs in between, or 3, or I guess I'd have to do the math to see. There's a lot of math that's gonna be involved here. Before I commit to anything though, Taylor and I are going for a walk at 5:30. It's 5:26 right now. I think this was a beautiful first episode to this series. Things actually worked, which is oddly surprising. We have our 4 feet. We have 2 11-inch legs, which kinda, given like what we decide to do, we might need to recut those. I'm not 100% sure yet. I have some brainstorming to do. Most importantly, we actually have our 30-foot rail, which is huge, literally and figuratively. I know this was sort of a lot, and I'm choosing to kind of leave in all the like engineering side of it that my brain's kind of doing to comprehend, just because A, it helps me to say things out loud, but B, I just think it's interesting. Hopefully you guys don't get too bored with this, but I mean, I think it's only gonna get more fun from this video on. So as always, I'll be reading through all the comments and hopefully getting some ideas, because I haven't settled on those bends yet. That's just the best idea yet. Excited to see what you guys come up with, and I am very excited to continue this tomorrow. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you to my channel members, and yeah, yeah, I'll see you guys next video for episode 2. Peace out.